Yeah, I'm back, family. I don't know what just happened to my connection, but if it goes off, always just log back in and just know that my connection must have stopped or whatever. I'm coming right back. So basically, the knowledge that I've received through this research, it just is confirming for me my purpose. It continues to confirm for me my purpose. And like I said, I was given several prophecies, but the one that hit most home was Joshua 1, 3, and 6 by Master Prophet E. Bernard Jordan. And then I run across information like this. It is definitely a spiritual divine connection to the work that I'm doing and that I've been called to do, and that is so pertinent within me. And this brother put great research in to the meridian lines sitting on Russia and Alaska, and the names, the original names. America is Morocco in the west. So these things never fade or pass away. And us being attached to the land will never pass away. Us being attached to the land will never pass away. We have antiquities evidence, landmarks, archaeological findings, going back to antiquity on these lands. Again, some of the ancient maps. This one is older. This one indicates that the earth or the continents were once connected. Anthropology. Anthropological evidence, archaeological evidence shows that we are ancient Asiatics in the Americas, al-Maruk. These are things that I put in my documents, Moors. If you know, and once you get these things seated in you and you looking at them every day, you know that you know that you know. So therefore, there's never a reason to move out in fear or to have fear, because these antiquitous knowledges that you tap into alerts your Akashic record within, and those ancient beings and spirit guides are now aware that you are ready to move to the next level, and they are willing participants to come forward and assist us. When we begin to wake up on a cosmic level and know who we really are, and begin to incorporate a holistic method in calling our ancestors forward to assist us in these times, there is nothing that we will not be able to do. These secret societies, fraternal orders, judges and judges' trust, and so-called beneficiaries of our estate will have to step aside. They will have to bow down. Their greatest mission is to hinder our spiritual awakening. So don't be distracted by TV and all these other distractions that they put out. These different acts that they put out is a distraction, and they do it during times of cosmic awakening. These people study cosmos and astrology and astronomy just so they can hinder us. Everything they do is based on hindering the Moor from waking up, the Asiatic who owns the earth from waking up. So they study these things. So whenever they put a distraction out there, just like that shooting in Las Vegas, it's considered a ritual. Those rituals are to draw your attention away from the cosmic awakening that naturally happens. So that's why it's important to know your ancient rituals, to know what's going on in the cosmos. And this is what our ancestors studied, and this is what they knew, and this is how they stayed in line with the divine mind. That's what you call the divine mind. So I put all of this in my documents, and these Akashic records speak volumes to the people that really know, and it exhibits power, and also it brings up the bones, and that's something within the biblical ecclesiastical law as well. When we begin to bring up the bones, Jeremiah 1 and 2, the world will have to bow down. And once we begin to bring them up, they will never go back to the tombs again. They will never. So we and I make it a point to bring up the bones of our ancestors. Jeremiah 1 and 2. Jeremiah 8, 1 and 2. And this means that prophecy is being fulfilled within our lifetime. So all of these things that I put in my exhibits, antiquities information, letting them know this is my land, and here is my evidence to support. And I always do it in a way of education and make my demands. I mean, there's ancient maps in my documents, and this was a prison extraction package for Moor. So they have the evidence in which we are claiming, or the demands. This is the catalyst that will break the camel's back when we begin to put historical documents in the record, even if it's just a court case. You have to bring up the bones of your ancestors. This is the power source that we have. This is an ancient map. You can find that online. This is one of the ancient maps depicting the continents as being connected, which is why we now find archaeological evidence on the American soil and in the Americas that we were here just as long. Our indigenous inhabitants were here just as long as in Africa. So we have to know and broaden our horizons more. The earth is our oyster. The earth is our oyster. It does not stop with one continent, one region, or an empire. As I stated before, if the generation I have been instrumental in resurrecting the empire, and it's filed at the Library of Congress, the Empire of the Moors. We are now out of interregnum. In the event generations to come no longer want to call it an empire, it is nevertheless ours, because we are attached to the land. That's why it's important to also include your Aborigine status in all the things that you do. Here is one of the latest hierarchy charts that was put together and given to so-called powers that be, letting them know where we are in the hierarchy chart in America. So we are one and the same with the soil. Antiquities. That's number one. Then coming down, you have natural law. The law of heirs. That's us. Law of the land. We create the law of the land. And I'm really apologetic about this blurry phone. I don't know what's going on, but it's blurry. Natural law. The law of the land. Then we come over to the left. Then you have your treaty. We can rely upon any one of these trilogies here. The law of nations supports us. International law. So we come, here is the top of the hierarchy. The United States of America and Aborigine Moors are part and parcel of the land. We are one and the same, which is Antiquities. That's natural law. And that's the law of the heirs, law of the land. Okay? Coming down a little further on this hierarchy chart in the United States of America is our treaty. So even if we didn't rely upon the treaty, we have antiquities, landmarks, and lineage and DNA that attaches us to the lands of the United States of America. We are part and parcel of the land. That means that we are synonymous with the land. Oh, clean the lens? Okay, hold on, let me see. Hopefully that works, because I done turned the camera around. Hi, y'all. Hi. Alright, let me turn it back around. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so even if we did not have the treaty, once again, the hierarchy in the United States of America is the Aborigine Moor, which is part and parcel of the land, and of which all so-called amalgamated versions of indigenous people came. So as they have deliberately skipped over us or ejected us out of this chain of custody, we have properly instituted and put ourselves back in our proper place, in our proper status, and we're moving in our proper person at all times. So make it clear that your name and your title and your appellation is a title of nobility, and the corporate actors that are acting upon the land are impostors, using false claims to act as they have titles of nobility upon the land. They have no power. Even the Clearfield Doctrine tells us they have no power. They are a corporate dead entity, and technically they cannot do business with us. So that's how I deal with them, and that's what I tell them anytime they have challenged me. My surety bond is on the record, and I let them know, the DA, the state, and everyone that has tried to challenge me, they have to come with a bond of at least 600 million to be able to do commerce with me, let alone get past my status. They can't get past my status, first of all, but if they want to play the commerce game, which they do, okay, my bond is on the record with the insurance commissioner and filed in every case that I've ever dealt with. This was a recent one. I put it back in there, but it's also at the county. My bond is also solidified as law in the county, and I am a secured par creditor within this region. So these are some of the ways that we can secure ourselves as secured party creditors. And this is a form that I came up with as an affidavit of individual surety. I let them know from the rip, do not violate me. This individual surety is a private secured party. Okay, this is dealing strictly with the commerce of it. And I let them know that my bond is at the commissioner's office, filed since 2008. Any violations by a state officer will result in at least $10,000 fine. Emphasis given to the bold text. The following North Carolina statutes are the lawful standing of the individual surety pursuant to this statute. Okay? And the federal statute 48 CFR 28.203-1, which states that they shall accept an affidavit of individual surety with the individual surety's assets. All types of bonds. That's what the statute says. An individual surety is acceptable for all types of bonds except position schedule bonds, blah, blah, blah. So I just go through their statute, pull out what applies, and use it against them. And then they're usually looking crazy because they've never seen it before. They don't even know what's in their own law. But their ignorance is no excuse. You shall follow the statute. Then there's another clause, B, within that statute that states, the individual surety shall execute the standard form 28 and provide a security interest in accordance with 28.203-1. So I just showed y'all my bond that's filed and situated at the state of North Carolina since 2008. And this can be used to extract or place a bond for an individual in a court case. 28.203-2, acceptability of assets. This is dealing with the payment bond. I just composed an affidavit in support of that, letting them know which statutes I'm going to be using to pay whatever I want to pay. And this being their state statute, and this being the federal statute. Where is it? This is the federal statute. So, being who we are, never be afraid to be creative. Go within the law and find what you want to work for you. It's all created by us. As a matter of fact, I found within my lineage and my name, the Ramjurs were the first to write the laws. And so I was tripping out because it's funny how that DNA is so strong. I'm doing what I'm doing. My dad used to sue everybody. I mean, it's just amazing that I found that out just based on the name lineage. So this stuff, you know, it will do you good to find out, trace back your name. It will also lead you to because when they first started writing law, putting laws on the books and different things like that, your title was indicative of who you were, and it just followed the family name. So that being said, it's no wonder why I'm doing what I'm doing, being named Ramjur, my last name, my given name. So this is very important right here as well. United States government securities at market value and escrow account is not required if an individual surety offers government securities held in book entry form at a depository institution. In lieu thereof, the individual shall provide evidence that the depository institution has placed a notation against the individual's book entry ledger, book entry account. I'm trying to read through the phone. Book entry account indicating that the security has been pledged in favor of the respective agency. Okay, now for instance, hold that thought. What they just said, right? Let me find it. I got 63 pages in front of me, so bear with me. Okay, that being said, this is on the North Carolina government agency ledger. This is on their ledger. All right, this is on their ledger. So therefore, I have met the requirements. If I want to use this credit that's sitting on the books of the North Carolina Legislative Office on their ledger, this is a book entry asset, which it states right here. Let me read it again. United States. Securities at market value. An escrow account is not required if an individual surety offers government securities held in book entry form at a depository institution. Is the state of North Carolina not a depository institution? The Attorney General's ledger. In lieu thereof, the individual shall provide evidence that the depository institution has placed a notation against the individual's book entry account. Is this not a notation that is actively published on their legislative report for settlements? Is it not? I think it is. Okay. These are some of the creative things that I allow my mind to do, and it's right and exact and it's lawful. So that's why I say move as in the imperial likeness of your ancestors. What would the emperor, the Muhammad, do right now? How would they move? How would they conduct business? You present them with their statue and make it work for you. I even go further in depth to the statues. Now, currently and lately, I use biblical text, ecclesiastical law, and create my own natural law, which the proclamation that's filed in the Library of Congress, the two proclamations, include that. We are of Aborigine descent, and we have created our own laws, because the laws that we're living under right now are not our laws. They are a corporate, de facto, fictional law. Our law was written originally to keep our subjects in line, not to be used against us. When we begin to read the ancient words of our ancestors, we will have the power to move forward. And this will immediately eliminate fear. And that's what I want you all to know, that the words of your ancestors are so powerful, and I'm hearing the words that are written in Arabic and different languages of our ancestors regarding the treaties is even more powerful. So it would behoove us to make it our life's mission to know what our ancestors said and what they left for us. That's the law. That's the only laws we need to be abiding by. So these exhibits right here were in support of my abstract of Aboriginal Imperial title. And this is what I go by. Empress Ninti of North Carolina. And this has been given and noticed to all the congressional leaders. Here is something that I stand upon in my knowing and in my claims. Okay. And this is filed for the record indefinitely in the county, and it's sealed by the Register of Deeds. I put all of this, and it's 63 pages worth of fire, into the record. And I even put one of my cases from back in the day where the settlement came from in there as one of my assets. This is an asset that has been on the record, and I have been a creditor to the tune of, that's 2010, notice of lien. This is the situation that created the 101 million that is at the state of North Carolina. A officer, a whole group of officers violated me. And there's the affidavit explaining everything and who corroborated their usurpations against me was a judge. And that judge is located on this book entry ledger, the North Carolina, but this is my lien that I filed after they kept violating me, in which I noticed them, if they did, they would be liable. And these are my lien debtors. This is how the Empress rolls out. Okay? You can't play with these people. They see that judge right there? This is on the record indefinitely in North Carolina Register of Deeds. So this is interest. I am a creditor in the full chain of custody on this matter. Okay, y'all saw that judge's name? Y'all see the date? 2010. Now let's go over here to the ledger that the state of North Carolina has on the online that you can find. The original case I sent to some of you all already, but the name right here, and this one is, let me see, can I find a copy that I didn't yellow it out? Excuse me. Well, it's all yellowed out, but anyway, this is just a different year. So that case and that lien initiated in 2010. As you can see, this is 2011. It appeared on the North Carolina's ledger. Case was picked up. The case that I had written and initiated and filed, I didn't carry it forth, but the United States Department of Justice picked it up, and they sued the state of North Carolina for constitutional violations. And that same judge's name that is on that lien is right here. Defamation, naming Judge Reagan Miller. And the original amount that I was claiming was an even 100 million. So the United States Department of Justice went and got a settlement for 101,006,000. So when I'm telling you, I live this life and create. It has been a long journey, but I stood fast and I stood on my square at all times, and I didn't let them put me into any implied contracts, and I gave them the law. But this is what it's been all about, family. In 2007, this is what the Most High and the ancestors invoked and inspired me to do. And I did it, and it's on the record, and the credit is there. And that has been since 2007, and it can only be paid by lawful coinage. And so this has been the basis of my attacks, and I have kept this real secret. But the veil has been lifted. There's no more secrets, and it's all on the record. This is the document filed that the Queen of England came over here because Kentucky is one of her commonwealths. She no longer has the power and authority to claim anything over here after this filing. She has acquiesced. This is why you see her urging her grandson to marry into the Aborigine peoples of the Americas now, because they knew this in 2007. And I've heard her also say at a different time, well, okay, in 2006, she lost her case at the World Court, and she had to give all indigenous people their rights back. 2007, the Spirit inspired me to file this document. Financing statement is everything I do is like triple fold. It's a financing statement that brought back all of the treaties and claims and attached a monetary amount to it, which created a credit, and it is an asset, and it is indefinite. And here's some of the verbiage. Some of it is sanitized for protective reasons. But the bar and all of the subsidiary corporate entities of the United States have been aliened indefinitely per this document. It's a little blurry. I'll have to read it to you guys one day. Right now, I was just letting you know that this document exists. If you do not have the actual number, you will not be able to pull it up because they have disabled that function. But if you have the number, you can go and read a whole library of my filings. And this one is very pertinent to the Moors. So you can take note of it, copy it down. It's very pertinent to the movements that I make, and it's very pertinent to all of the so-called challenges over the years that I have been under attack. It's all based on this document and the knowing that I have, the claims I have, and the power I have. And it is a very powerful document. So if you want to go and pull that up, you can go to the UCC of Kentucky and pull that up. It's like 3 pages, and it brought back, briefly, I'll run through here. It brought back, and it put a dollar amount on. Something is making this very blurry. So anyway, those are some of the things that I do and how I operate in imperial status with the authority of my ancestors. The authority of imperial status, knowing that I'm an heir to the land. Here's my certificate of those ledgers for the last 6 years since 2011 regarding that monetary amount that's in the name of the Moors for, with, and by Ninti, el-bey. So everything that I have done, Moors, everything that I do is primarily to bring back the estate of the Moors. This document here is bringing back the estate of the Moors and making it known that all of the corporate entities of the U.S. Corporation are indebted to the family of the Moors. That was done in 2007. Then in 2010, the suit was brought against the state of North Carolina in the name of the family of the Moors, and it was solidified by settlement. The United States Department of Justice achieved that settlement. Let me see. Here it is. those of you all that had a chance to come to Raleigh, you witnessed all of that history being made and attended the hearing. The hearing was to enforce the settlement and gain access to the settlement, which by a lawful stance I have a right to. So the Industrial Commission is the governing body of the Attorney General here and the governor. So we will have that credit soon. And so this is some of the ways that I have moved out and executed and operated in imperial status. But here is one of the main things that it was something that the spirits were trying to tell me. It was something else that I needed for this region, and I found it. I found it probably last year. And this is so significant to add to my arsenal, especially in this area. This right here. The laws of North Carolina, year of 1739, written by His Majesty. From my research, this is the Moor King Charles. So, this is the verbiage that I like to use, and I like to bring these forward and let them know I'm standing on the words of my ancestor, which states, the Aborigine of which I state, okay, and then I'll get into the quote. Okay, I state as Empress, the ancestors, the Aborigine of the Americas, the Moors of England, and the Moors of Morocco, stated that we, the heirs of them, may inherit or otherwise purchase and receive, take. Y'all see that? This is written in the law. And take, hold, buy, and bequeath. And a lien. It says a lien too. I missed that. Okay, there we go. We may take, hold, buy, and enjoy, give, sell, a lien. A lien means to transfer the ownership of something to another. Do y'all see the power your ancestors left you in their words? This is why I say it is so simple, and God is so easy if we just get quiet, sit, listen, and get the answers. I'm talking a few words, and these words are sharper than any two-edged sword they could ever throw at us. So when I give them documents like this that they can go and research and see for themselves, they know right then and there, there's nothing, absolutely nothing that they can tell me I cannot do, I cannot have, I shall not own. When my ancestors told me in this law right here, Laws of North Carolina, year of 1739, that I may receive, take, hold, buy, and possess any lands. Ooh, I love that. Any lands, tenements, or hereditaments within the same places, and them may occupy, possess, and enjoy, give, sell, a lien, and bequeath and bequeath. That is so powerful. And that's what our ancestors left us. This is our right. This is our power. And I want you all to know this, begin to learn, and get this in your greater knowing, and begin to know that you can use these laws to give orders. I'm going to show you this again. And this is like the last piece that the Most High, the creators and the ancestors, wanted me to see to clinch the deal here in North Carolina. These are the laws of the King Charles, who was a Moor. So we had Moors that wherever they wanted to claim for their dominions, that's what they did. It made no difference where it was, and they didn't have conflict. If it was a Moor that was claiming a certain region at that time, the next Moor just went to another part of the world and claimed that. So you had Moors from Morocco, Moors that were already here, Asiatics, Aboriginals who didn't have go by titles at that time, but they were already ruling dominions here. So, as I like to let them know that I'm standing on the words of my ancestors, and I have claimed everything that they said I could claim, and that I know within my knowing I can claim as an ancestor of the Aborigine of the Americas, as a descendant of the Aborigine of the Americas, as a descendant of the Moors of England and the Moors of Morocco, because let's face it, we're all mixed up. Nevertheless, these are our ancestors, and these are the words that they left us, that we, the heirs of them, may inherit or otherwise purchase and receive, take hold, buy, and possess the lands, tenements, hereditaments within the same places, and them may occupy, possess, and enjoy, give, sell, lien, and bequeath any lands. Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear how powerful that is? This is why I move out without hesitation, because I know that I know who I am. I know the words that was left for me to move in. So, and this is just a little bit of my lineage and history. The family of the Ramjours domiciled and inhabited the lands of the Carolinas, primarily Ramjour, North Carolina. My great-great-grandfather was from the family of the Ramjour, who married my great-great-grandmother, who was from the Turner, family of the Turners, which is a Tunica. All Turners changed their name to Tunica. All Washitas changed their name to Washington in the effort to preserve their lives during a time where the colonialists were coming in, killing them and stealing the land, killing the heirs to the land after they won their case. So, my great-great-grandmother was a Tunica, Moor, of the original two Aboriginal tribes in the South, Tunicas and the Washitas. So, it is no wonder why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's in my DNA on so many different levels, although nonetheless we are all mixed up. The Aborigine pygmy people were little short people. So, it's a lot of different indications that you instill in me and wake up my Akashic records to who I am. Whether a DNA test has proven it to me or not. I was rolling out, creating waves before any inclination of DNA. At this point, I will be getting DNA done in a whole nother continent under an alias name. They will never get a chance to detach me from the land, knowing who I am and how closely they watch me as of this day. So, what a man thinketh, so is he, which is written in the Bible, and the Bible was written into law in 1982. If they need proof, they can get the King James Version and look up that scripture. What a man thinketh, so is he. If I say I'm who I am, that's who I am, and that's who the world is to refer to me as. Period. Take a look at this one more time. This is the chart that has been given, the hierarchy chart that has been given to Congress, all of United States constituents, and in my region, the mayor, the attorney general, the governor, the attorneys for the city, the state, and the sheriffs. Soon we will not have the corporate law enforcement. We will have our own law enforcement. So the mayor is suited, the police work up under the mayor. But that's what we're coming to, Moors. I want you to wrap your minds around this reality, because it is here, and the kingdom of the Fez is back. If you Google that term, you'll know what I'm talking about. And you will know the ancient secrets and the ancient knowledges that have been put in place or have been kept secret from us for those ruling powers in the world that know this. They knew this day was coming. This day is now here in full manifestation, and it began for me in 2007 when I filed that document, and I hope you all took note of it. I think I put it on the Aborigine of Amexem website as well, that you can have that for your records. That is a powerful document and a family heirloom that you can surely use as proof, and it's indefinite. As I stated, the Queen of England came after I filed that document, and they took the system down in Kentucky for about 2 days, and next thing I know, it was back up, and this was still on the record. So they knew the movements. If I did this at the age of 33 in 2007, they about knew my movements, and so they was watching me very closely from the time I filed this document. And this document is a headbanger. When I read it, I say to myself, oh my God, who wrote that? So that's when my journey began, and put me on the map with heads of state and different entities that seek to hinder our movement, because in these ancient scripts it is prophesied that we in the West will rise again, and the time is here, the time is now, and it's time for us to move and walk in our imperial status, or whatever you want to call it. As an Aborigine, I just created that term to give you something to grasp onto. But definitely we are of Antiquities descent, and all of our antiquity is on the record. So use these things. I've been moving out in them for the last several years. Congress, President, the President's Advisory Board, the Pope Francis, Queen of England, the IMF, the World Bank, the UN, all of these entities know and are fully aware of who we are. And they know the time has come for us to rise back up again. And if you notice, just watch what's going on in Congress right now and in the world. Like I said, the Queen of England sought an Aboriginal from America, so they called her Aboriginal, to marry her grandson. We have a Jew in Congress that's calling for the impeachment of the president based upon his support of the white supremacists, Ku Klux Klan. I mean, just watch and pay attention to what's going on, and these are based on the things that we're doing. And I can speak from my own doings that I see movement. I was taught by the best how to play chess. I mean, I don't play chess physically, but in the spirit realm, I know how to play chess, and I know how to watch movement after I've made my move. So it's time. They're ready for us. The only thing we have to do is move and operate in our imperial status and make demands and learn how to speak the imperial language. There's nothing they can do but acquiesce when we know who we are. All right, peace and love. I may do another video in a little while regarding some other things that have been placed on my heart. But for now, today's lecture was based on this right here, the coming and the resurrecting of our kingdom of the Fez in the West. So, and just to let you all know that this is perfectly suited for the feminine energy. All of the brothers and individuals who think that we as women, the Asiatic woman cannot wear a fez, you have to know your cosmic rights. If anybody can wear this black fez, it's us. This is why they came after me when I put this black fez on and put it online. They came in the house. They destroyed my altar. They put stuff all over this black fez. They tried to do witchcraft on me. They tried to rig the house to blow up. They already know what time it is. But you already know I'm protected. I can tell you story upon story upon story. And that's why I will be teaching the spiritual class on rituals of protection, because this is the time that we're in. We are no longer struggling with physical principalities. We have to get our ancient spiritual rituals back on deck immediately, because Israel, the powers that be in Israel, and the tainted Islam religion has been put in place to suppress us, the Asiatic woman, and to suppress women in general, but they're really trying to get to us because it's been written and prophesied. They have the books. They have the lost books. They know where it's coming from, and it's coming from the West. And where are we? We are in the West, and you have me, a young woman at 33 years old that did some of the things that I did, and I didn't even know why. So it's time, and it's happening. Y'all need to get prepared and learn how to speak and walk in the image and the likeness of what and who we are. This picture right here is significant of the black womb. You're talking about cosmic rights. All Moors and Israelites that have been taught to suppress the woman, primarily the black woman, and tell us what we can and can't wear and different things like that, and and want to make us subordinate. They were taught that because that religion has our lost books, and they know the true history of the lost books that they stole from our ancient ancestors and our teachings and instructions, and they took allegiance to keep it hidden from us, then gave you the Islamic religion to oppress your Asiatic Wombman, who was going to bring you your salvation and bring you back into power. And that's the black womb, the black hole in the cosmos, and thus you have the black fez. The great rising has begun. The empire of the fez. Peace and love. This video will be posted on YouTube, and also I'm not sure if I've been getting requests for the spiritual ritual class. I'm not sure if I'm going to put that in public, but I'm definitely available for private consultations. You know how to reach me, Messenger or on Facebook, regarding the consultations on how to protect yourselves and how to invoke the spirits. I can definitely affirm and confirm that they are here and they are present to help us. And over the last solid year, I have seen them come forward. I deal with the spirits and my spirit guides and the ancestors on a daily basis, and it's a powerful experience. So if anyone wants that private consultation, we can definitely do that. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace and love, Moors.